Hey, what's up guys, another video here. So today I want to talk about the power of saying no in terms of finances. Okay, so this is your most powerful tool when you are trying to build your wealth and your net worth. Okay, so let's just say your income is limited as far as you being a salaried employee, or let's say you have limited income for your business where your income is not scalable. Then the power of saying no is very important when you're dealing with the expense side of the equation. So you have your set limited income and then you have your expenses. So you saying no is a issue of you having the instant gratification of a social circumstance in the present versus you having more financial success in the future. Okay? So let me give you an example. So let's say you want to take a vacation with your friends, and let's say this vacation is going to cost $3,000 to $5,000. Okay, so you can either set aside this money, which will grow at around 8 to 10% a year, and really reap the benefits 10, 20, 30 years from now, or you can spend the money and you will have that instant gratification on that vacation. Okay. So one vacation may not be a big deal, but if you string these vacations 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, then that is, let's say on the low end, $3,000 a year times 10, it's going to be $30,000. Okay, so $30,000 is a huge amount of capital that you can use toward your early retirement. And you doing that every year is going to set back your retirement years, maybe a decade. Okay, so you really have to measure, hey, am I going to say no to this vacation? Am I going to say no to this fancy car? Am I going to say no to all these fancy dinners? Again, I'm not immune to that. It's okay if you go once in a while, but if you're constantly eating out, if you're constantly taking lavish vacation, if you're doing a car lease and you're switching your car every 3 years, if you're buying fancy clothing, I know that's a big issue with females. I know they like to change their clothing. They like to get into new trends, and that can be an issue. But if you're able to fight that urge not to do all these things that you may feel pressure from your friends and society to do, then you're going to be in a really good spot. So every day is a battle. Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And that's really applicable to big ticket items, but it's also applicable to small ticket items. So let's say you're buying lunch at work every day, $10 a day times 5, so that's $50 a week. 50 times 4 is 200. 200 times 12 is $2,400. So do you want to be spending $2,400 on just your weekday lunch versus packing your own food and making a fraction of the cost? So it can be 1/3 or 25% of the cost of you going out and getting an unhealthy lunch, and where you can use that $2,400 for your future early retirement. So every day is a choice of is it yes or no? Is it good for me? Is it bad for me as far as your health is concerned? Okay, so the power of saying no is extremely powerful. And if you elect to say no to a lot of these extraneous things that are beyond your basic necessities, then the better off you will be in the future. And your future self will thank your present self, which will be the past self if you're looking from the future. So you'll say, oh, me saying no so many times in the past has really set me up for the future, where I don't have to work until 65, 70, killing myself at work. And then in actuality, if you do retire early, you're going to have a lot more time to yourself as opposed to you working until 65, 70, just grinding away where you're going in and out with expense. So $100 earned, $100 spent, or even worse, $100 earned, or let's say like $150 spent, because you can get things on credit. Okay, so the credit card also is an enabler for you to say yes. Okay, so if you have a credit card and you spend freely with it, you're probably, if you aren't really strict with your spending, you're probably going to want to say yes most of the time. So the credit card can be an enabler for you saying yes to a lot of type of expenses or type of luxury goods or expenses. So just to recap here, so the more often times you say no to extraneous things that are beyond the basic budget, the better off you will be in the future, provided that your income is limited. And most people's income is limited anyways. So if you control the expense side of the equation, you're going to be in a really good spot. So you're going to miss out probably on social events or fun during your younger years. Again, I'm not saying to live your life devoid of any type of fun or pleasure. You'll have a budget for that, but if you keep going beyond that budget month after month, year after year, then your future self is going to regret it, because you won't be able to retire as early, you won't have as much free time toward the end of your life and whatnot. So it's better to, in my opinion, to really say no to a lot of things in the present while you're fairly young. Again, don't say no to everything. Maybe you can make some compromises, do some kind of less expensive option, or very carefully save for a small event per year, so you don't feel deprived of having any type of fun or enjoyment. Again, it's not wise to not have any fun, but have it within reason. And you saying no to a cumulative amount of events throughout your younger years, you're really going to benefit later on. So you'll have all this extra money, all this extra income that you would have otherwise spent on extraneous things that you may forget down the road. So hey, I had a lot of enjoyment at that particular time, but it wasn't really a memorable experience. So you may run into that a lot. Okay, so saying no more often than yes is going to put you in a much better financial situation down the road. And as your income increases with your business or your salary job, and you maintaining that consistent philosophy of saying no more often than yes, it's going to put you in a really good spot, and you'll be able to retire early, and you won't be the rest of the herd where they're going to keep working until 65, 70, and they're going to keep spinning their wheels until that age, and they're going to be working essentially until their death. So just to recap, saying no will enable you to have a better future where you can retire earlier and have a larger nest egg later on in life. Okay, so that's it guys, and stay tuned for the next video.